wanted to share with you today. Oh, great. The recording is in progress. So, um, so as part of our true nature, if we do not, right, walk with the principle of restoring justice in our lives, in our journeys, and whatever life we live, right? If we don't, then we're breaking the balance. We're breaking our balance. We're breaking the balance of nature, our nature as people, as individuals, but then we break the balance as collectives. We cannot live in our bodies without this purpose, without this in mind, right? One of these purposes, because we have several purposes. One of the purposes is to achieve justice, to walk in justice. If we don't walk with this principle, then we're gonna get sick. We're breaking the balance, and when we break the balance of individuals, and we break the balance of communities and collectives and societies and so forth. And then we live in a world that we're enojados, we're angry, right? Si no restauramos la justicia, si no caminamos con la justicia, con el principio de la justicia en las manos, vamos a romper ese balance de la vida que te dice tu verdadera naturaleza es caminar con la justicia. Entonces, ¿qué va a pasar? Que vamos a enfermarnos. Vamos a romper el balance, individuo como persona, el balance social como familia, como la comunidad y el balance mundial. Y vamos a seguir viviendo en estados de conflicto, en estados de guerra, ¿verdad? Es algo que bueno, he reflexionado muy detalladamente. It's something that I have reflected very in detail in my life, and it's what has saved my life. Getting to this point of understanding what and reflecting on what my purpose is, it's really very important for me to maintain balance. And then so from that perspective, then I applied the medicine, and that's how I apply, like you already mentioned, Tessa, about how, you know, I have an extensive experience in using plants. Yes, mis abuelas fueron curanderas, my grandmas were healers. Entonces ellas me transmitieron muchos remedios y los curanderos de mi comunidad. Al ser trabajadora social, as I work in the community, I also meet a lot of elders, a lot of people that were enojados, and they were participating in a lot of social projects, just like, you know, making sure that, I don't know, they had the streets paved, they have sanitary water, or they, you know, we fought for water, for services of the water. We in the past, we did that a lot, and I met a lot of these elders in my path, in my journey. That at some point, when I got, en un momento dado, cuando yo estaba en el movimiento, yo recuerdo estar muy enojada. Una cosa muy claro es que sí, el enojo en este ambiente va a ser una condición que vamos a adquirir de manera irremediable cuando estamos mirando que la justicia no existe, ¿no? So when we see that in social movements, we're going to be able to see that a lot of people really have amazing good intentions. We meet a lot of amazing people, committed people. I have myself, and I cannot say that not everybody is, but a lot of other people, at least half of them, will be the ones that are indeed holding, you know, in the control of power, and they're the ones that are not seeking for justice. They're seeking, you know, their own individual gains. So it's something that's going to be happening all, you know, in different levels of social movements, in different levels of organizations. So for me, being in different sectors, in different ways, I was in the political movement, supporting the leftist groups, right, the so-called democratic parties in the past. Not anymore. After 15 years later, I dedicated just my life to promote indigenous medicine. I wanted to bring that justice into your body, people's bodies, and just bring elders into the people's lives so that we can have power and control of our health. Sí, tenemos que tener, para mí fue muy claro que lo más importante es, por lo menos, the minimum we can do es tener control de tu salud, ¿no? The minimum we can do is have control of our own health, ¿sí? De nuestras condiciones físicas, of our wellness, de nuestro bienestar. Eso es justicia. Para mí es muy claro que necesitamos, para mí es muy injusto ver que en las clínicas la gente está esperando toda la mañana sin comer. Eso es injusto. That's inhuman. That's, you know, not offering the right protocols for diseases, and I saw it this year, right? I was so angry, Tessa, believe me, yo estaba muy enojada este año, mirando los protocolos que se utilizaron para resolver el problema de COVID, ¿no? And then also looking at the media, how they're blaming people, right? And we blaming each other because we're angry. And we're blaming each other because we're angry. Nosotros, cuando estamos en peligro, cuando estamos mirando a otros, bueno, estamos enojados por la justicia, por las formas en que somos tratados o sometidos. Hubo mucho enojo en este año. Yo en lo personal sí estaba muy enojada mirando cómo los protocolos del sistema médico estaban siendo erróneos, ¿no? Y no quiero decir que había malos doctores, no voy a decir eso, simplemente estoy mirando que mucha gente murió con los protocolos equivocados. A lot of people died because of that, because of not reaching dignifying service, dignifying health service towards maintaining themselves strong while they were sick, for example. People died in their homes, they had no service, doctors were not going far to the communities because they were afraid of COVID, and there was not enough doctors or enough social workers or enough health workers, right? Not enough money to be sent to the communities, to the places where people needed service, needed attention. So I could be mad because of that, all of that, of course, right? Pero no nos vamos a quedar ahí. Para mí, la enseñanza de la medicina de nuestros ancestros es the medicine of our ancestors is to listen to the voices and learn from the experiences, learn from those lessons, right? We have big lessons this year. I have been having big lessons throughout my 25 years, maybe 30 years of being a community worker, a freelance person, an independent person that works in the community. Entonces, bueno, para mí es muy importante que rescatemos esas medicinas, pero sobre todo esas prácticas y esos conocimientos ancestrales, ¿no? That ancient wisdom, those practices, those medicine, that it can be in your home, it can be so simple, but of course it takes a little bit of an extra effort to do that for you, right? Also an extra intention for self-care, right? An extra intention. Es un pequeño esfuerzo, ¿no? Yo como corredora y como deportista y como también como luchadora, pues de mis maestros o elders, they told me, no te puedes quedar en la flojera, ¿no? Tienes que hacer un esfuerzo de más, tienes que quedarte aquí en la marcha, no puedes salirte, ¿no? Tienes que quedarte en el pecho, tienes que quedarte en esperar para que te den el documento que necesitas, ¿no? You need to wait, you need to be persistent and stay there. So sometimes we just have to keep on that and that extra effort to do some work, some of the work that you need just to restore your peace, so we can restore our peace. So para mí, yo quiero compartir algo en esta tarde. Ya dejamos esta reflexión que nos sirve, nos va a servir como punto de partida. This reflection can just help us as a point of departure, so we can locate ourselves in the context, right, Tessa, of where we are. In ancient medicine, in la medicina ancestral, we have the teachings of our ancestors, and there is one, not all our families, in Mexican families, we have remedies for enojo. We have remedios para el enojo. And why I want, before I share them, I also want to ask, maybe put it in the aire. What was the intention? Besides, of course, we're gonna have remedios para el enojo, but what's behind the teachings of enojo, right? I already talked about it, of course. Así como ya existen esos remedios, porque si hay remedios, yo quiero compartirlos hoy, además de los remedios concretos y que hoy los vamos a preparar porque tenemos suficiente tiempo. Quiero arrojar el comentario y la pregunta, ¿cuál era exactamente la intención de nuestros antepasados, verdad? Al enseñarnos que dejarnos ese legado, esa herencia de esos remedios, que están ahí, esos remedios que te van a decir, mira, aquí está el remedio, ¿verdad? De la ruda, yo se los voy a demostrar. El remedio de masticar una hierbita amarga, el remedio de inclusive de aliviar la bilis, the bile, ¿no? Que le llamamos el bile. before I share that, and like I said, I'm throwing that question. What was the intention? ¿Cuál era la intención? En realidad, ¿qué es lo que tenemos que sanar? ¿Qué necesitamos mantener en balance antes de darles el remedio? Porque puedo darles miles de remedio, pero aquí lo más importante es tomarse, entender cuál es la intención del remedio, ¿no? ¿Cuál es el propósito? ¿Cuál es la enseñanza de este señor aire? En la medicina existe la idea, la enseñanza de que los aires son nuestros maestros, los que guían nuestras vidas. The winds are the ones, and the teachings of the elders, the winds are the ones that, master aires, master winds, are the ones that teach you and guide you in this world, in your journey, as you walk in this earth, on this earth. So in this case, we're gonna have remedios para el enojo, for the remedies for the wind. What would be the intention indeed for our ancestors to pass on this information of taking care of our bile, right? Nuestra bilis que llamamos la bilis, ¿no? So that we can go on. What would be the real intention of applying these remedios? Anybody here it's acquainted that you guys know? Anyone in the group? Do you know any remedios, or do you hear in your familias and your friends, colleagues, and neighbors that they talk about, people having a lot of enojo and taking certain remedies? ¿Hay alguno en la familia, conocen algún remedio de alguna abuela, alguien que hablaba aunque no lo conozcan, o alguien que hablaba en la familia que dijera, ay, pues tú tienes bilis, te tienes que tomar este remedio, ¿verdad? Pero mi pregunta era más, ¿qué era lo que tenemos que curar y cuál es la intención de curar esa bilis?
Estela, hay una respuesta en la chat. There's an answer in the chat of sometimes my mom would drink té de manzanilla, chamomile tea, to deal with anger.
Yeah, to calm down, right? To like soothen up, because ¿qué pasa what happens when we get enojados, right? So we get angry, and we're going to develop this pattern of anger, right? Here it's okay, the anger, it's fine. The teachings of our ancestors, they teach us that, right? We're wind too. Our bodies are water, right? Our earth, our water, our wind, and our fire. Our bodies are both of those elements. Life is based on those elements. In biology, you're gonna learn that. Your earth, your wind, your water, and your fire, right? Based on that wisdom, based on that knowledge, I must watch how I walk, right? I'm gonna be walking on this earth, right? And I'm gonna confront the others. And there's gonna be moments or times when as I confront to the other, I have to engage myself into a contract. As soon as I am with somebody, I'm signing a contract, right? As soon as I'm born, I'm signing a contract. It's something that I have learned to work with my, with elders. I didn't learn that with any psychologists or any teachers in the academia. I learned that with my elders, right? We should know how to walk when we approach somebody. As the moment we approach somebody, right? Or we see somebody coming or arriving, my first thought towards that person should be of joy, should be of love, should be of like, oh, somebody is arriving, I should be happy and smiling, because that would make me connected. That would make me feel good. It's just so natural. That's what a baby does when they see the mom. That's what a mom does when she sees her baby, right? We do that. It's what we're meant to do that. That's our true nature, to do that with anybody that we see, that we start connecting with. But suddenly this person comes, for example, we meet that person, and then you sit, or there's one chair, so you have to, you wanna eat it, there's only one chair, you need to sit in that chair, right? And everybody's fighting for the chair. Suddenly, we're not talking, and we're not signing a contract, and suddenly the situation becomes unfair for the other person, right? That's why our people, knowing of all this, how we relate, how we build connections, we knew that at some point in this world, right, we were gonna be able to face, right, enojo. And enojo indeed is the wind that tells you there are 13 winds, and one of them is enojo, is the wind of anger. And we need to pay attention to that wind of anger. There are 13 winds, and you can ask me about them. I can tell you at the end of the class. But that right now we're gonna focus on that. So I must be prepared for that. I must be prepared to take care of my body, to take care of myself, right? To take care of the way I walk, so I may not offend anybody. I may actually, in the past, our elders taught us, right? When somebody comes, offers a chair, right? We need to be trained to do that. When somebody comes, you offer some of what you have, because that person might want to take it from you. For them, in their perspective, right? They're gonna be mad because they don't have those things. So the more we evolve economically, politically, socially, we have more things, the more we grow, the more possibilities we're going to have, right? To host the wind of anger. That the wind of anger is guiding us and indeed telling us, sit down with this person, right? And don't even choose a chair, just sit on the floor, right? Choose something else, another thing where you don't have to fight. So we can discuss what the agreement is, and also you honor this person. But of course, today we don't learn that. So we have to confront ourselves in situations of really feeling displaced, of feeling abused. People is going to be out there discriminating you, pushing you away, getting you out of a place. Migration is about that. People feel threatened because they are right they're first, right? So we're not really sitting, but our true nature says we need to sit. But of course, it's hard to do that, right? Yet our people develop remedios to tell you that at least we need to, right, stay in balance yourself. So you're able and clear to negotiate. Because once you're angry, once we have that vial filled up with bitterness, we don't have clarity. We don't have clarity in our thoughts. We don't have clarity. We're not willing to negotiate. We're not willing to talk or build or create a contract. It's hard. It would be hard. So that's why, for me, for example, being an activist and a social activist, believe me, I was so mad. I used to be like so mad and so angry. A lot of us social activists end up getting sick. In Mexico, a lot of my friends ended up getting sick. A lot of people, activists, social activists that want in power, but they went there for good intentions. They did end up getting sick. What happens? What would happen if somebody gets really angry and they're not able to channel that energy that their true nature is telling them to do, right? Well, part of your body is going to be paralyzed, right? Part of your body is going to be holding anger. We call our central chakra, right? Solar plex is going to be filled up with this heat, right? That we're going to suffer stomach aches. We're going to suffer, we're going to feel blown up. And believe me, that can take us to a really, really bad headache, right? You're talking about headaches, all of those things can be headaches, real headaches. Because it's hard for us to really, in this world, right, of competition, in this world where there's little solidarity to make people conscious about how much they have and they should be putting in away. I can hear you, the compañera, being stressful now because we shouldn't be. When people should be there, there should be people that right now it's enjoying the benefits of the situation that is becoming so rich right now, and they should be able to fund. They should be able to fund. They should be able to support projects, and we should not be having headaches. The headache is going to be because we have a project that's going to take more than we think. It's going to take more organization. It's going to take more money, but it shouldn't be like that. It should not be like that, right? We should be able to all put our parts in it. We should be able to sit down and do that work. but we need to have clarity to demand for that work. To create a contract and see who should be taking part of this project and who should be putting right the money, the resources, because the resources are there. The resources are there. So, ¿qué hacemos? Yo quiero demostrarles algo que yo hago todos los días. I want to show you something that I do every day. I started to do it. You mentioned one of those. Tessa is my baño de temazcal. Is something that I do at least every month. Is when I do when I release all my stress, right? When I release all my enojo, when I do my prayers. Es donde hago todo bueno, no sé si ya tengo que regresar a español un poquito. So yo quiero, además, ahorita compartir, además de los remedios, y por supuesto ya alguien dijo lo que su abuela le hace para un remedio de manzanilla. Sí, necesitamos calmar ese estado estresado, ese estado lleno de calor. ¿Por qué? Porque el cuerpo cuando se enoja, se calienta. Y ese calor, si ustedes se dan cuenta, alguien se enoja, se sube el calor a la cabeza, ¿verdad? I don't know if you notice somebody that is angry, how the blood comes all the way up, right? Se sube hasta arriba, y entonces la cara está roja. Y después de ese calor, ya que la persona, pues ya medio se calmó, tomó medicamento, hizo algo, no hizo a lo mejor un remedio, algo hizo, se tomó su manzanilla, pero sin embargo no trabajó el enojo, solo lo calmó. What we did is that we calmed when we do take a remedy, un remedio de manzanilla, y les voy a ofrecer unos ahorita, is to calm down at least, to bring your body to a neutral temperature, right? Entonces, lo que hacemos es hacer que el cuerpo regrese a su temperatura natural, porque si no lo hacemos, entonces, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Pues que el calor se va a acumular en el estómago, en la parte del estómago, en los intestinos, en el vaso, en el hígado, entonces va a producir inflamación. Y al rato decimos, pues sí, hice un coraje, pues tengo el estómago bien inflamado, ¿no? O si no me duele el pecho, la energía va a estar bloqueada, el calor va a estar bloqueado. Y nosotras como activistas, como personas que estamos expuestas a enojarnos constantemente, yo era una enojona, yo quería matar a medio mundo. Mucho coraje, yo me enfermé, muchos de mis amistades se enfermaron en la política, de los que apoyaron a los políticos se enfermaron. Nosotros ni siquiera trabajábamos por un puesto político, solo apoyamos a gente que queríamos en el poder. Pero después de ver cómo estaba sucio el poder y la gente que buscaba sus propios beneficios, sus propios intereses, pues nos dimos cuenta, empezamos a decepcionar y nos dimos cuenta pues que trabajábamos para esa gente que solo buscaba sus beneficios. Entonces, bueno, pues yo me dediqué a la medicina, a escuchar más a los antepasados. Yo sabía que me tomaba mi tecito de ruda, de estafiate, de manzanilla, el que sea, y me lo tomaba, pero yo tenía mi enojo de todos modos ahí. The thing is that even though we take the medicine, right, a remedy, whether it's from the doctor or from allopathy or homeopathy or natural medicine like I do, we still have the heat there. We will still have the heat. So, hay muchas formas en que podemos trabajar ese calorcito. There's a lot of forms that we can take out that heat, that we need to not accumulate it. Necesitamos trabajar. Yo he aprendido a manejar ese calor, ¿no? A que ese calor lo canalizo, ¿verdad? I need to channel that heat towards something that I can do now with a purpose, ¿no? With a good purpose. Entonces, cuando logro esas cosas, digo, ay, ya hice algo. Y esos desgraciados políticos o los que están ahí en el poder, ya, ¿no? Ya no me enojo porque ya hice algo que ellos no hicieron o que los molesté porque se molestaron, pero yo lo hice con amor, entonces yo no lo hago por venganza ni por nada, lo hago porque canalicé ese calor, ¿no? Entonces yo, mis prácticas cotidianas, primero, ¿verdad? Es reflexionar, ¿sí? ¿Qué me produjo enojo el día de hoy, ¿no? What produced anger in me? And where is that heat? And where did I channel that heat, right? ¿A dónde se fue ese calor? ¿Y qué hice con ese calor, no? Una práctica muy útil es visualizar, ¿no? Tú te levantas en la mañana, tomas aire fresco, ¿verdad? y respiras, tal vez estás en la ciudad, no siempre estoy en donde está el campo, yo a mí me gusta estar afuera donde hay árboles, pero si no visualizo que estoy en la selva, visualizo algo verde porque el verde es fresco. So I need to bring coolness into my body. ¿Sí? Necesito atraer cosas frescas. Entonces, inclusive yo en mi casa, cualquiera de nosotros va a tener geranios, ¿no? Let's see, where is the camera here? Geranio. So ese es un geranio, una hoja de geranio. Esta es aromática. Some geraniums are really good. I just bring the oils a little bit, por ejemplo, ¿no? Le saco el aceite, lo lavo, está fresco, ahorita como ha llovido, it's clean and it's beautiful. The geranium itself is really refreshing right now. Mis tías, mis abuelas, I use it a lot when people has a toothache. It brings inflammation off, right? It's refreshing, it's cooling. This is very simple, you can find it at home. You can do that, or you can use, I can use rue, any fresh plant, anything you can get. That doesn't sting your body, of course, right? You have to touch it, make sure it's soft and gentle. Just breathing in itself, putting it in your chest, right? Or putting in the part. For myself, for example, I get swelled up in my stomach a lot. I suffered that since I was a little girl. As an enojada, as an angry little girl, I would get mad all the time. I was very chula, right? Even though I was quiet and everything, but I kept my feet in my body. And I demonstrated my berrinche, my tantrums, not by doing what other kids do, but just being quiet and sitting and not doing nothing. So I demonstrated in another way. I learned from grandma that she would, when I had a stomach ache or a toothache or something, or a headache, you just kind of heat it up a little bit in a comal. You heat up a little bit, you bring the oils out, that's enough, you don't need anything, and you stick it in your forehead. Oh my God, it feels so good, right? To me, when I do that, when I'm able to do that, and I always invite people to do it, it can be as simple as that. I just connect the coolness of the plant and the plant taking, like dying, sacrificing. There's a lot of intention in a plant. The plant dies, right? And it's already suffering. It's already, it's already sacrificing itself for you. Everything has a purpose in life. You have a purpose in this life. One thing that helped me moving forward and not getting sick, right? And being healthy and strong. I consider myself a healthy and active all the time person. Is by how I take care of myself. Cómo me cuido. Y sobre todo cómo cuido ese hígado, ¿verdad? I take care of the bile, I take care of the splint. This is the most important thing you need to take care of. And you need to take care of the liver. Entonces, simplemente algo fresco, refrescante, va a sacar el calor del hígado. Tenemos el hígado está a calor, mucha gente se muere de cirrosis. Not because they drink, but because it's also already irritated. The liver gets irritated, it gets red. It loses a lot of its juice. It gets sick, it gets weakened. So we get sick. When we get angry, the first thing that we affect is the liver, is the spleen and the liver. So we must take care of the liver. Entonces, cuando nosotros nos enojamos, going back to Spanish now, nosotros nos enojamos, lo primero que afectamos son nuestro hígado, el spleen. El estómago se inflama, ¿verdad? Parte de nuestro cuerpo puede también tener calor y parte del cuerpo, porque se pasó el calor a un lado y el otro va a estar frío. Entonces vas a paralizar también tu piel. Tu cuerpo también se puede paralizar de un enojo. Eso lo hemos aprendido con toda la gente, nuestras clientes, la gente en la comunidad, que sufre de repente ese padecimiento, sufre esta condición. Somebody that has suffered from a paralyzed body suddenly, we have to ask them, what happened? What did she went through a coraje. Something happened, right? I had a friend, it was not a close friend, but a person I knew that she won a position in the government, but it was a low position. It wasn't big, like a school board position, something small. And then, but she had to deal with this big, right, assholes politicians. I remember she knocked on my door and she had half of the day paralyzed, half of the body paralyzed. And then she told me after a meeting she had with them, after speaking where the resources should go, for example, right? And they said no, and they just diminished what she what she had to say, and they ignored her. And then that's when she went home and she felt this paralyzed part of the body paralyzed. Así puede que se nos paralice la mitad del cuerpo, el hígado se empieza a afectar, los ojos se ponen amarillos, una persona enojada, con mucha bilis, ¿verdad? Sufre de ojos amarillos, luego se nota en el hígado, o sufre de inflamación en el estómago, la comida no está cayendo, no está digiriendo correctamente, cae fría, cae caliente, irritante. Son condiciones reales que van a afectar su salud y que ya no nos van a permitir trabajar como activistas. The real conditions that we need to, right, consider, because otherwise we will stop working as an activist. Who's going to do the work? Nobody else, right? I mean, there'll be people out there doing the things, but other people is gaining more and more power. Resources are being accumulated here. Political power is accumulated there. We live in oligarchy. We live in dictatorships, and they're going to be angry all the time. Believe me, because if we, like I said, the winds come and tell you, your nature is to, right, live in justice. That's your true nature. The more if we continue the way we are right now, we're just going to end up killing ourselves, killing each other. And that's what the people above in power wants, is that we end up fighting among ourselves, right? Killing ourselves, and not thrive, right? Lo que ellos quieren en realidad es que nosotros nos quedemos ahí sometidos, dominados, trabajadores listos para ser explotados, y no crecer, no florecer económicamente, no florecer intelectualmente, ni humanamente sobre todo. Entonces, por eso para mí es tan importante que debemos cuidarlos. That's why for me it's so necessary, for me as an activist. I want to be an old lady and still kick people's asses, right? I do want that. And I want to be strong. I don't want to die being a martyr or a victim. For me, that's the reason I take care of myself. I take care of my beliefs. I take care, whenever I feel angry every day, what I do is reflect, okay, ¿qué me hizo enojar? I need to breathe it out, right? Necesito respirarlo. Entonces, una meditación que les puedo invitar ahorita antes de continuar con los remedios, y lo hacemos para romper un poquito tensión de, oh, sí, hay mucho enojo y cierto enojo, right? Because when we talk about enojo or any of the winds, that wind just seems like to wake up in ourselves. Oh, yes, it's true, I feel enojada, right? I feel so angry. So because it wakes up once we acknowledge it, and it's good. And I'm here for us to wake it up. So we can acknowledge it, because that's the thing. Anger wants to be validated, right? It's good. Estar enojado es bueno. Enojarse es tu parte humana. Es un maestro que te viene a decir, esa no es como debes de vivir, ¿no? Te viene a decir, tú debes de luchar por la justicia, y ahí te vas a quedar, y no te vas a regresar. Ese es tu trabajo. Es lo que el enojo te viene a decir, ¿no? Pero aquí lo importante es que nos cuidemos, que atendamos esas partes que cuando el calor no fue canalizado, no se lograron ciertas cosas, el enojo se queda en el cuerpo y puede alterar tu vida y te puede llevar a la muerte, ¿no? It can alter your life and it can take you to death, but we don't want that. So, vamos a seguir con unos remedios que les voy a enseñar, que se pueden tomar, ¿verdad? Pero yo antes que eso, una cosa que he aprendido, además de mis baños de temazcal, o mis vaporizaciones que les voy a enseñar, es a reconocer en qué partes de mi cuerpo está ese aire. One thing that helps me every day, right? When I wake up, or at least every other day, I need to take my time. For me, that's my time for my coffee is my time for my breathing, right? And my time to dialogue with enojo, for example. I need to take my time. You know, I can go with friends, have a date or anything, but I need my date with myself, ¿no? Yo vengo a este mundo a cumplir un propósito, entonces yo tengo que atenderme y hacerme una cita conmigo misma. I came for a purpose into this world. I've had myself, nobody else does, right? I said, oh, look at how beautiful things, how good things you do. Mira, nadie ha hecho eso, qué bonito que lo has hecho, ¿no? Entonces, every day I wake up and reflect a little bit, oh, mija, hiciste muy buen trabajo, ¿no? Pero ahora hay que ver dónde se quedó el enojo. But now let's see and acknowledge where, in your meeting, where you were, if you even went and drove somewhere and the police stopped you, or somebody else was mean to you, didn't let you into the supermarket or something, and then you got that enojo, right? How do I deal with it? Every night or every morning, I do it. Sometimes I can't sleep. No puedo dormir porque estoy en la obsesión, el viento que me dice esa voice that tells you didn't say anything, or you didn't do the right thing or something, right? Ok, tomo una, respiro y digo, bueno, empiezo agarro mi hierbita, me la pongo en la cabeza porque me ayuda a concentrarme, a bajarme. Me pongo mi hierba cualquiera, puede ser romero, it can be rosemary, any hierbita. You put it on your head. Right now, even by putting the geranium, is containing me. It feels good. Like my thoughts don't spread out. No. Sometimes you'll see me doing like this in the meetings. When we meet with people. Estela, as always, she always carries something. Everything has a purpose. So put mi hoja fresca. I can do it in the evening when I'm going to bed, right? But me pongo mi hoja. Una hojita fresca, ahí se queda, puede ser de geranio, puede ser de hoja de aguacate, any hoja that's clean and fresh, you can put it and wrap it up and put it in. Me siento o me levanto o estoy sentada o parada como ahorita y empiezo a tocar mis coyunturas, ¿no? Something I will invite you to do that. So let's do it. Let's take a deep breath, right? Right. Respiramos. Sostenemos un poquito el aire y exhalamos. Inhalamos. Exhalamos por la boca si es posible, suavemente sin forzar tu respiración. Otra vez. Inhalamos. Y exhalamos. When I inhale, right? Call in, llama, cuando inhalas, the forces of nature. Y lo exhalas, you release, estás exhalando esa imagen que no te gustó, right? You inhale, that image that's still in your mind that you're not liking, that you feel uncomfortable with, right? Somebody that made you mad, that made you feel bad, that discriminated you somewhere, as women, as people of, like, we don't fit in the mainstream, we're not well dressed up as other people want us to be. I love dress myself up to ornament myself, but when I dress in a different way, I just don't do it. I just go with my shorts or my jeans. I'm all dirty because I'm working right in the garden or something. I don't care if people looks at me like, oh, right. But sometimes we feel uncomfortable because people really put an eye on you, right? Eso se llama mal de ojo. We call it mal de ojo. So we also have to clean ourselves from mal de ojo. I clean myself from mal de ojo all the time, believe me. So we take a breath again. And then I call in forces of nature all the time. I call in when it's full moon, I call the full moon into my body, right? I call in the montañas. I call in the sun setting or the sun rising. I call in the sun rays touching my body. And also very importantly, I call in me as a female body, I call in my ancestral lineage. All the beautiful, powerful women before me, right? Maybe there's nobody in my memory, right? I could think of sometimes. I could say grandma was enojada all the time, but it's not your grandma only. Around your grandma, there must have been also a tia, abuela, somebody that was watching the actions, that was really, really wise. All of us, anybody in our lineage has to have somebody, right, in your clan that took control somehow, that had the power, that had the power to connect to the ants, to nature, to the moon, what had the power to maintain, right, the family in balance, even though they were must have been cows. There was somebody there praying for you all the time. So let's call in that lineage of ancestral when you breathe. Let's do that again. Call them in, bring them in, feel them in you, in your DNA. They really are there in your DNA. And release and let out what you cannot control. We let out the image of our enemies. Think of those women, even people that they bother you, right? Politicians bother me. They do, believe me. I need to let them go. So I need to breathe in, call in my ancestry, my lineage of feminine power, my feminine power, with my true nature, leaders, like my true leaders in the past. I may not even think of them or know who they were, but sometimes they come to my mind or in my dreams. I wonder if they're a great grandma, a great auntie. So let's breathe them in. Call the forces that surround this feminine, right, lineage, and release, and they go. Believe me, they can be there for you, consoling you, already telling you, you're right on, man. You're gonna be fine, right? And let go of that you didn't like. And when I do this, I also touch my body. I breathe in again, and I touch my shoulder because my shoulders may hurt, and I might have a little wound in my shoulder, like a pain. So touch your shoulder, and then release. And then when you do that, inhale and bring that lineage, that power of nature into you, and then release. Allow for healing into your body. I do that with one shoulder to the left side, and then I do that with the right shoulder, shoulder. And then bring that healing power, right? And touch it, feel it, sense it, acknowledge it, right? Acknowledge yourself. Sometimes I hug myself and I just release like this, hugging me. And I release, see how my arms move. I mean, you can open up your eyes a little bit and see how my hands move. Move your hands down towards your wrist, and then towards your fingers, and release and allow it to breathe, and to release any energy stagnated there in your body. Let's do it again by ourselves now. If you saw me, and then you breathe and bring that energy down to your fingers, to the fingertips, and then release it and put it into the ground. Right? We cannot hold any burdens. We let go of those burdens that are not yours. Even the neighbor that I didn't like, or the neighbor that was mean to me, or somebody mistreated me, I let it go. I release it, I put it into the ground. So I do that again. I do it at least 3 times, right? And I put it down. I shake it. Cats shake and dogs shake, right? They do it naturally. And so I watch my cats and I watch the dogs. So tap into your again, to your shoulders, just tapping, I do some tapping into every joint, right? The shoulders, elbows, and wrists, and tap it. And then you feel good. It feels better. Now, I know you might feel some tension in the joint of your neck, something in the neck between your head. So I'm gonna invite you to do the same, to tap in this part, these 2 parts, 1, 2, 3, and do it like 13 times. 1, 2, 1. Así vamos a tocarnos en el cuerpo, en la parte baja, arriba del cuello, between the neck and the lower part of your scalp. So tap, and then bring up the tapping all the way up to the tonality where you reach your leaf. To hojita, right? I'm already doing myself a limpia, believe me. It feels good. And then grab your limpia. My hojita, I'll show you. It's so dead, la pobrecita. I didn't do much with it. It already got all my heat. See, this is how the heat, it's in your body, that the leaf that leaves the nature itself can take from you, right? All the heat that we collect in the body, right? Believe me, I have this, I collect heat all the time because I get mad. Yo me enojo, no. Entonces, but every day I want to be clear, I want to be shiny, right? I want to shine. I don't want people to see me as an angry person. I want to see me as a person with clarity and also with love. It really makes me feel good now. I feel love towards myself. So even with the people that I disagree with, I can bring my love to, and I can still argue and discuss what I need to discuss with clarity, right? We need to discuss for our cause, right? And we need that clarity. I do that, and the most important joints are the neck, shoulders, elbows, wrists, right? The neck, when I show you that part where the, right between the lower part of your scalp and the joints of your, like between your hips and legs, right? I do the same. So I could do a limpia there just by already tapping those. A lot of us women hold a lot of heat right here. So you need to release this heat. We need to let go. We need to open this channel so that your liver, right, your bladder, your kidneys, right, which are affected. Once you affect one organ, is affected and irritated, it's taking more water from the rest of the organs. So myself, esta limpia, igual, a lo mismo que hice de mi parte de arriba, lo voy a hacer por mis pies, ¿no? I do the same breathing, right? 10 minutos, se llevan 10 minutos. Lo más importante, right, es to acknowledge, sí, tomarnos el remedio, pero la intención, ¿no? De quiero alcanzar la paz, quiero neutralizar esa energía, no quiero, dejo ir ese calor, ¿verdad? De mi cuerpo para que yo pueda mantenerme en balance cada día. ¿Algún comentario, una pregunta? People may have questions and comments after this practice, but I'm going to start giving some water so I can show you how I make myself another tea.
Estela, desfortunadamente no tenemos mucho más tiempo.
How much time do we have?
Well, ya es las 4.
Ya se hizo la hora. So just want to show me, then I'll show you rápido un remedio. Really fast, right?
Yeah. I said, unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of time yet because it's already 4, but she's going to show us something really fast that we
You have aire in the body. We don't want to collect aire. We need to let the aire go of your body. The wind, it's also becomes, it turns into like gas and wind in your body. And doctors know that too. Doctors will tell you, oh, your body is full of aire. So this is some cacao. I'm showing you here some cacao. It's like it's mine, right? 5 pieces of cacao. They cut out. A piece of a little tiny piece, doesn't have to be a lot, roux, right? And I have, and then a little bit of cinnamon. My water is boiling. It doesn't have to be a lot of cinnamon, right? I'm gonna grind this cacao. Right now, I'm gonna put it all and a little bit, just doesn't have to be a lot of cinnamon because cinnamon can be irritating to your body also, cacao, right? But we're mixing a little bit of roux. And these, you're gonna boil it in a cup of water or 2 cups of water. When you get enojada, when you're like, you're really enojada with your husband, with your partner, right? With your friends, with colleague, with your neighbor. I get mad sometimes with people, even my brothers. I don't have a husband, but I get mad sometimes with my brothers because they're drinkers and they do mean things sometimes. So I have to be mad. I want to talk to them out of love. I do. You know, really cacao has that capacity to change the chemistry of your body. You know, anything it will neutralize, it will change your chemistry to the point that your body wants to feel the heat move in the body, not in the stomach, but through your whole body. So I'm just gonna add it to 2 cups of water. And if I can peel it off and grind it, it's best, but I'm gonna drink that tea later. Let it sit there. You only boil it 1 minute and then drink the water and chew the cacao. Believe me, at the moment when you're getting enojada, at that moment is when you need to release that heat. That will even make you sweat. Like going to a temazcal, you wanna sweat. You wanna sweat out that heat, right? You don't wanna collect. So that was my sharing. I wanted to share with you because do it, please. It can save your life. It can save, your wellness. It can save your peace. Thank you, Tessa. Thank you, everyone.
Muchísimas gracias, Estela. Qué bonito estas prácticas. Thank you so much, Estela, for these beautiful practices.
Of course.
Does anyone have any final quick questions or comments before we go? I wish we had all day. I was with Estela for a month.
Nosotros estábamos practicando.
Ay. Muy bien, María.
Tenemos aquí el día de hoy a Imelda. Ella es una indígena nativa del estado de Guerrero.
Mucho gusto.
Y ella también usa mucho los remedios, así que estábamos aquí practicando. Agáchate, Imelda.
Qué linda, ya la vi. No se quite su hojita. Oh, no se las quite.
Gracias.
Gracias. Y bueno, cualquier pregunta, tú compartes mi correo, mi Facebook, and people can ask me any other questions. Y ahí están las maestras también, entonces que un día compartimos todas. Thank you, gracias, Tessa. Gracias. Un gran
Thank you
gusto.
so
Alas.
much,
Yes.
everyone. And she's saying that if you want to ask more questions, she's on Facebook, and also I can share her email and we'll post this.
Estela Roman, yeah. It's very simple, estelaroman@hotmail.com.
And is it on your Facebook? It's Judith, right?
Yeah, Judith Roman in my Facebook. Gracias.
Por ahí búsquenos también en las redes sociales, Estela, como Huerta
Sí.
del Valle Jardín Comunitario.
Oh, perfecto. Cuando ande por allá, me gustaría visitarlas.
Cuando
Sí.
guste, bienvenida.
Lo apunto, sí. Gracias, Tessa.
Hasta luego.
Ya.
Gracias,
Buenas
Estela.
tardes.
Gracias a
Gracias.
todos. Que se cuidan.
Esa.
Gracias. Gracias.
Bye.
Bye.